I would encourage my ELL student, I'm not going to make this a requirement, I thought about making it a requirement, but I think it would be more fair to give them the opportunity to let them research the Spaniard side of it, and let my English students research the Texas side of it, because it gives both sets of students the opportunity to research their own culture and history, and encourages discovery into their own heritage. And then once they've done their research and come up with the dates and information for the timeline, they're going to come together and create the puzzle. So it gives them the opportunity to do the research, find factors about their own heritage, but then it also gives them to come together to create the puzzle and get the hands-on learning aspect of it. And of course they'd have to work together when they're creating the puzzle, because they're going to have to combine the dates from both sides. And for as far as my different learning styles, this would be fantastic for my visual and my tactical learners. They are going to enjoy this activity due to the fact that they're going to be able to see the dates right in front of them as the timeline is created. And for my tactical learners, they're going to enjoy the creation of the puzzle part, because it's very hands-on. They're going to have to use scissors and glue and markers, so it's going to be a very hands-on activity. So they're going to really get a lot out of that, I think, in that aspect of it. So that would be our first week in the Learning Center. Now the second week of the Learning Center is the actual Battle of the Alamo, what took place at the battle, the dates. They're going to talk about the people that were actually in the Alamo fighting in the Alamo itself and outside of the Alamo itself. What they're going to do in this particular Learning Center for that week is they're going to do a role play. They're going to get to choose one person. It can be on the Spaniard side, or it can be on the Texas side, and they're going to get to choose one person to role play. Now, this person does not have to be a major player. This can be just a foot soldier that they choose to be. They're going to come up with whom they want to be. They're going to create their own role play scenario, and they're going to act it out. Now, when I say they're going to create their own, they're going to work within the Learning Center, they're going to work in groups of 4, because I think it makes more sense than them just trying to put something together by themselves. So when they're creating this, they're going to have to work together in groups, which is going to help create a good group organization, team building skill for them. And I think that's important for all of my learners in the classroom. So for my ELL students, however, I'm going to ask that they choose someone from the Texas side, so that they're getting the other side of the picture from when they did from the first week. And then for my English students, I'm going to ask that they play someone from the Spanish or Spaniard side. And I'm going to encourage that. I'm not going to require that, but I think that's important for them to try to do that, just for the fact they get to see both sides of the picture as when they're building their role-playing activity. For my special education students and my GT students, this is going to be a little bit more of a struggle for them. However, I do think it's important for them, because it gives them the opportunity inside of a classroom where it's a safer setting to role play with their peers, and I think that's important for them. Also, it gives them the opportunity to explore a different learning outlet. It's not sitting in a classroom taking notes or listening to a teacher lecture or writing things down. This is giving them the opportunity to really, per se, act out. And so it gives them the opportunity to explore that different outlet of learning. And for them, I don't think it's going to be as much of a struggle as it's going to be for my just basic learning students, because this is something, yes, it's new to them, but there's no wrong way to do it in reality. And so I think this is going to be a very fun activity for them, and I think they'll really enjoy it for that reason. As far as the learning styles, this is going to be almost cover everything. It's going to have the visual aspect of it, because the kids are going to actually be acting it out for each other. So everyone's going to get to see it. So my visual learners are really going to get a lot out of this activity. Obviously auditory. My auditory learners are going to enjoy it, because they're going to be hearing all the important factors that go into what happened during the Alamo. Because as the students are acting these activities out, or producing the role plays out, they are going to actually be talking as if they were a person in the Alamo, sharing what's going on around them, what's taking place, who is there, the noises, the sounds, the smells, the sights, they are going to be sharing that as they act this out. So I think for an auditory learner, they're going to get a lot out of this activity, more so than most of my students. And for my tactical learners, I think they're going to enjoy it because it is different, and it is hands-on, and it is a different way of learning. And so for them, they're really going to get to work outside the box per se for them, but they're going to get to do a lot of hands-on learning because it is them actually doing it, if that makes sense. So I think this activity, I'm excited about actually getting to utilize this one in my classroom. This one's one that I did a lot of research on as far as being useful in a classroom as role-playing, because history is not always an exciting topic for a lot of students, and being able to make it come to life for them and letting them actually be a part of history per se, I think they're going to get excited about it. They'll want to be involved in it, and I think they'll really enjoy it. So I'm excited about this learning activity in the Learning Center. And for the third week of this thematic unit in our Learning Center, we're actually going to take a virtual field trip. And there's 2 points to this. The first part is we're going to take a virtual field trip of the Alamo, where we're actually going to go online. There are dozens of different websites to choose from, and I'm going to give my students a list of websites to choose from, and I'm going to actually let them take a virtual field trip of the Alamo. And I have the websites, most of the websites are pretty much the basic same information. They're going to take them through the Alamo before today, back when the actual battle was taking place, what led up to the battle. And then they're going to take them through the Alamo today and what it has meant to Texas and the outcome of the Alamo, how it changed the history of Texas and the history of Texans. And then once they've done that, they're actually going to go back. We're going to work in peers on this, and they're going to create their own virtual field trip of the Alamo today. And for my students that are my ELL students, for this particular activity, I'm going to pair them with a peer that is a strong English speaker, so that as they're building their field trip, they have proper grammar, proper punctuation, but they can give because they've done the research on the Spaniard side or Hispanic side of it when they were building it from the first week, their timeline. They're going to be able to offer an insight into building from what happened. They're going to be able to offer a better Hispanic insight of the historical side into building into creating the Alamo today. For my GT and special education students, I'm going to pair them with the peer on this. And the reason why I'm doing that for this one also is because the grammar aspect of it and the language aspect of it, but it also gives them the opportunity for their peer to work with someone that may need assistance, but it also gives them the opportunity to help someone on the computer. They can work together on the computer. It offers 2 points of view, so for my GT students who are going to probably have a broader imagination, this gives them the opportunity to really expand it. And for my special education students who may struggle some in a larger group setting, this one-on-one interaction with the peer, it gives them that opportunity to really let their skills shine through. For the learning styles, this is going to pretty much cover almost all of the learning styles, auditory, tactical, and visual, for the aspect of they are going to be first watching the virtual field trip. So they're for my auditory and my visual learners. They're going to get to watch and hear all about the Alamo through their own, from the first time out, from when we actually watch the virtual field trip. And then for the tactical, when they're building their virtual field trip, those learners are going to get a lot from that aspect of it. So the only downfall I see in during this week is that it's going to be a little bit of a struggle for my special education students, not for my GT, but for my special ed, just with the fact that we are working on the computers, and unless their computer skills are at least adequate, it may be a little bit of a struggle for them. So for this one, I'm going to spend a lot more time probably in there when I do have a special education student in the learning center. However, I think this is a good opportunity for them to grow in their computer skills and grow as working with a partner. So I hope that's not a downfall for them. But those are my 3 different weeks of my learning center, my thematic unit. Thank you for the opportunity to share this. It was very insightful being able to do this, to actually think of different ways to integrate learning centers into a middle school classroom, because that's what I would like to teach as middle school. So it was different to be able to introduce it to a middle school classroom and use more of an advanced level for learning centers. So have a great evening, and thanks again.